The notification sound from my phone cuts through the silence of our suburban kitchen like a blade. It's 7:23 a.m. on a Tuesday, and I'm stirring my coffee, watching the steam curl upward while sunlight filters through our cream-colored curtains. Marcus left for his morning jog 20 minutes ago, same routine we followed for 8 years of marriage, but this morning feels different. This morning, everything changes. I glance at my phone screen, expecting the usual work email or reminder about our anniversary dinner reservations next week. Instead, I see a text message that makes my blood run cold. Not from Marcus. From his phone, yes, but clearly not meant for me. Can't wait to finally be free tonight. Divorce papers are ready, just need to figure out the best way to tell her. My hand trembles as I set down my coffee mug. The ceramic clinks against the granite countertop, the sound echoing in the suddenly oppressive quiet of our home that apparently he's been planning to leave. I stare at the message, reading it again and again, each word carving itself deeper into my consciousness. 8 years. 8 years of marriage, and he's discussing our divorce with someone else before he's even mentioned problems to me. The front door opens with its familiar creak. Marcus's footsteps approach the kitchen, his breathing still slightly elevated from his run. I hear him pause in the hallway, probably checking his reflection in the mirror like he always does. In 30 seconds, he'll walk through that doorway, kiss my cheek, grab his protein shake, and pretend everything is normal. But I know his secret now. My name is Amelia Chen. I'm 34 years old, and until this moment, I thought I knew my husband. I thought I knew my life. I thought I understood what love looked like after 8 years of marriage, 2 career changes, 1 miscarriage, and countless quiet Tuesday mornings just like this one. I was wrong about everything. Marcus enters the kitchen with that easy smile I fell in love with in college. His dark hair is still damp with sweat, his running shirt clinging to the athletic frame he's maintained, despite his desk job at the consulting firm. He looks exactly like the man I married, but now I see him differently, like looking at a familiar photograph that's been turned upside down. "Morning, beautiful," he says, moving toward the refrigerator. The same greeting he's given me for years, the same casual affection that once made me feel cherished. I watch him pour his protein shake, noting the way he avoids eye contact, the way his shoulders carry a tension I hadn't noticed before. Or maybe I had noticed, but I had attributed it to work stress, to the promotion he's been chasing, to anything except the truth now glaring at me from his phone screen. "How was your run?" I ask, my voice surprisingly steady. "Good. Really good." Cleared my head. He takes a long drink, still not looking directly at me. "I was thinking maybe we could talk tonight." After dinner, when the divorce papers are ready, something crystallizes inside me in that moment. Not panic, not desperation, but something sharper and more focused. I've spent 8 years accommodating, compromising, being the understanding wife who never rocks the boat. I've molded myself into whatever shape our marriage needed, always assuming that flexibility was strength, that selflessness was love. But watching my husband plan the end of our marriage while pretending everything is normal, I realize I've been playing a game where only one person knew the rules. Not anymore. "That sounds perfect," I say, managing a smile. "I'll cook something special." The irony isn't lost on me. He wants to serve me divorce papers, and I'm offering to cook dinner. The old Amelia would have meant it genuinely, would have spent the day agonizing over the perfect meal to somehow fix whatever was broken between us. But the Amelia sitting in this kitchen, holding his accidentally sent text message, has a different plan entirely. Marcus finishes his shake and heads upstairs to shower. I listen to his footsteps on the hardwood, the sound of our bedroom door closing, the familiar rhythm of our morning routine continuing as if the foundation of our life hasn't just cracked in half. But I'm not the same woman who woke up an hour ago. I spend the next 10 minutes going through his phone. Not proud of it, but desperate times call for desperate measures. What I find is worse than I imagined and exactly what I expected. Months of messages with someone named Jessica from his office, plans for apartments, discussions about asset division, screenshots of divorce attorney websites. The most damning message is from 3 weeks ago. Amelia has no idea. She's so wrapped up in her own world, she doesn't even notice I've checked out. This will be easier than I thought. What? I screenshot everything, every message, every plan, every casual dismissal of our marriage. Then I delete the evidence of my investigation and place his phone back exactly where he left it. Marcus comes downstairs 20 minutes later, dressed for work in his navy suit and silver tie. Still handsome, still carrying himself with the confidence that first attracted me. But now I see it differently. Now I recognize it as the arrogance of someone who thinks they're playing chess while their opponent doesn't even know the game has started. "See you tonight," he says, kissing my cheek. The same goodbye kiss we've shared thousands of times. But today it feels like betrayal, disguised as affection. "Looking forward to it," I reply. And for the first time in months, I actually mean it. After he leaves, I sit alone in our kitchen, surrounded by the life we've built together. The granite countertops we spent weeks choosing. The backsplash we installed ourselves during our 3rd year of marriage, laughing as we got tile adhesive in our hair. The kitchen table where we've shared thousands of meals, where we planned vacations and discussed dreams and held hands during difficult conversations about starting a family. All of it about to be divided, cataloged, appraised, and split down the middle. But Marcus has made a crucial miscalculation. He thinks I'm the same passive, accommodating woman he married. He thinks I'll crumble when he serves me papers, that I'll beg him to reconsider, that I'll make this easy for him by falling apart. He's about to discover how wrong he is. I call in sick to work, something I've done maybe 3 times in the past 5 years. Then I call my sister Emma, who answers on the second ring despite being in the middle of her morning chaos with 2 toddlers. "Amelia, what's wrong? You sound weird." Marcus is planning to divorce me tonight. I have his phone records proving he's been planning this for months with his coworker. Silence. Then, "That bastard. Are you okay? Do you need me to come over?" "I need you to watch what happens next." The rest of the morning becomes a blur of strategic planning. I contact 3 divorce attorneys, scheduling consultations for the next day. I photograph every asset in our house, every piece of furniture, every valuable item. I gather our financial documents, making copies of everything Marcus thinks he's been hiding from me. But most importantly, I start making phone calls. You see, Marcus has forgotten something crucial about the woman he married. Before I became his accommodating wife, I was Amelia Chen, marketing director at a Fortune 500 company. I built campaigns, managed crises, and orchestrated presentations that could make or break million-dollar deals. I know how to research, how to plan, and how to execute a strategy. And I know how to tell a story that people want to hear. The first call goes to his mother, Patricia, who's always treated me like the daughter she never had. The second goes to his brother David, who stood as his best man at our wedding. The third goes to his boss, whom I've met at countless company parties over the years. I don't lie to any of them. I simply tell them that Marcus has something important to share tonight, and I wanted to make sure they heard it from him directly, rather than through gossip. I suggest they might want to check in with him today, maybe grab lunch, see how he's doing. By noon, Marcus's phone is buzzing constantly. The beauty of this approach is its simplicity. I'm not sabotaging him or spreading rumors. I'm simply ensuring that when he drops his bombshell tonight, he'll have to explain himself to the people who matter most to him, the people who thought we were happy, the people who want to know why he never mentioned problems, why he never suggested counseling, why he's been planning his exit strategy in secret for months. At 2 p.m., he calls me. "Amelia, what did you say to my mother? She's asking all these weird questions about our marriage." I didn't say anything about our marriage. I just mentioned you had something to tell her. A pause. I can practically hear him calculating, trying to figure out what game I'm playing. And David called, asking if we're okay. Are we okay, Marcus? Another pause, longer this time. We'll talk tonight. Yes, I say, unable to keep the smile out of my voice. We definitely will. The afternoon passes slowly. I cook his favorite meal, beef Wellington with roasted vegetables, the same dinner I made for our first anniversary. But this time, I'm not cooking it out of love or hope or desperation to save our marriage. I'm cooking it because I want this evening to be memorable. I want every detail to be perfect when he looks back on the night he underestimated his wife. At 6 p.m., I light candles. I set our best china. I open a bottle of the wine we've been saving for a special occasion. And I wait for my husband to come home with divorce papers, completely unaware that his carefully planned ambush is about to become something entirely different. The front door opens at 6:43 p.m. Marcus enters looking rattled, his usual confidence replaced by something I haven't seen in years. Uncertainty. Something smells incredible, he says, but his voice lacks its usual warmth. He's studying me, trying to read my expression, searching for signs of the conversation he thinks is coming. I thought we should do this right, I say, gesturing to the elaborate table setting. Whatever you want to talk about, it deserves our best effort. He nods slowly, still watching my face like he's trying to solve a puzzle. We sit down to dinner, and for the first time in months, I have his complete attention. The silence stretches between us as we eat, punctuated only by the soft clink of silverware against china. Marcus cuts his Wellington with surgical precision, chewing slowly, his eyes darting between his plate and my face. I can see the wheels turning in his mind, trying to calculate how much I know, how much this is going to hurt, how much easier it would be if I just disappeared quietly into the background of his new life. But I'm not disappearing. Not tonight. This is really good, he says finally, gesturing with his fork. You outdid yourself. Thank you. I wanted tonight to be special. He shifts in his chair, reaching for his wine glass. His hand trembles slightly, and I notice the way his jaw tightens when he thinks I'm not looking. The confident man who left for work this morning has been replaced by someone who looks like he's walking into an exam he didn't study for. Amelia, about what I wanted to discuss? Before you start, I interrupt gently. I have something to share first. His fork freezes halfway to his mouth. I got a promotion today. The lie comes easily, smoothly, like I've been practicing it for hours, which, in a way, I have. Marcus blinks, his prepared speech clearly derailed. A promotion? Senior marketing director. 40% salary increase. They want me to lead the entire West Coast division. I take a sip of wine, savoring both the vintage and the look of confusion spreading across his face. I'll need to travel more, probably relocate to the San Francisco office within 6 months. Marcus sets down his fork entirely now. This is not the conversation he planned. This is not the weak, dependent wife he expected to crush with his revelation. This is a woman with options, with power, with a future that doesn't revolve around him. That's incredible, Amelia. Congratulations. His voice sounds hollow, like he's speaking from the bottom of a well. But we should probably talk about timing. Oh, I think the timing is perfect. I lean back in my chair, studying his face the way he's been studying mine. This opportunity changes everything, doesn't it? About what we want from our future. He nods slowly, clearly struggling to regain control of a conversation that's spiraling away from his carefully crafted script. Actually, Amelia, there's something I need to tell you. Something important. Here it comes. The moment he's been building toward all day, maybe all month. The moment he destroys what we've built together and walks away clean, leaving me to pick up the pieces of a life I thought we shared. Except, I'm not the same woman he thinks he's talking to. Before you continue out my phone, I say, pulling mention that I've been getting the most interesting calls today. His face goes pale. Your mother called around noon. She was so excited to hear about your big news. She said you sounded stressed when she talked to you, wanted to make sure you were okay. I scroll through my call log like I'm reading a grocery list. Then David called. He seemed concerned too. Said you were acting strange when he tried to take you to lunch. Marcus's hands grip his napkin so tightly his knuckles turn white. And then there was the call from your boss. He mentioned something about Jessica from your team asking for a transfer to the Denver office. Interesting timing, don't you think? The wine glass slips from Marcus's fingers, sending Merlot spreading across the white tablecloth like blood from a wound. He doesn't move to clean it up. He just stares at me with the dawning realization that his secret isn't secret anymore. How long have you known? About Jessica? About your apartment hunting? About the divorce attorney you consulted last month? I set my phone down carefully, the screen still glowing with evidence he doesn't know I have. Long enough? He pushes back from the table, standing abruptly. The Marcus the I married would have tried to explain, would have attempted damage control, would have at least pretended remorse. But this Marcus, the one who's been planning his escape for months while kissing me goodbye every morning, simply looks angry that his plan isn't working. You went through my phone. You accidentally texted me this morning about tonight, about the papers. I remained seated, voice calm, you watching him pace around our dining room like a caged animal. Did you really think I'd just sit here and let you ambush me? This isn't how I wanted this to happen. How did you want it to happen, Marcus? Did you want me to cry, to beg you to stay, to make this easy for you by falling apart so you could walk away feeling like the reasonable one? He stops pacing, turns to face me with something that looks almost like his old confidence returning. We haven't been happy for years, Amelia. You know that. We've been going through the motions, pretending everything is fine when it's not. This is better for both of us. The audacity of it takes my breath away. After months of secret planning, after building an entire exit strategy behind my back, he wants to frame this as a mutual decision, as if I've been part of the conversation he's been having with everyone except me. When exactly did you decide we weren't happy? Because I must have missed that discussion. We don't talk anymore. We don't laugh together. We're like roommates, not married people. And when did you suggest counseling? When did you ask if I wanted to work on our communication? When did you mention that you were feeling disconnected? His silence answers everything. I stand up now, moving to the window that overlooks our backyard. The garden we planted together our second year here, the deck where we hosted barbecues for friends who thought we were the perfect couple, the life we built that he's been systematically dismantling without my knowledge. Here's what's going to happen, I say without turning around. You're going to tell me exactly how long this has been going on. You're going to explain why you chose to sneak around instead of being honest with me. And then we're going to discuss how this ends. Amelia, no. I turn back to face him, and for the first time all evening, I let him see the anger I've been carefully controlling. You don't get to Amelia me. You don't get to use that gentle tone you use when you think I'm being unreasonable. You lost that privilege when you decided to treat our marriage like a business transaction you could dissolve without consulting your partner. Marcus sits back down heavily, suddenly looking every one of his 36 years. It started about 8 months ago with Jessica. Not physically, he adds quickly, but emotionally. We connected. We talked about things, real things. What things? Our dreams, our frustrations, what we wanted from life. Did it ever occur to you to have those conversations with your wife? Another silence that stretches like a chasm between us. I felt like you wouldn't understand. You're so focused on your career, on achieving the next goal. I felt invisible. The irony would be laughable if it weren't so devastating. While I was building my career partly to contribute more to our shared future, He was interpreting my ambition as abandonment. While I was working late to afford the house he wanted, the vacations he planned, the life we'd mapped out together, he was deciding I didn't care about him. So, instead of telling me you felt invisible, you made me invisible. You planned an entire future without me, while pretending everything was fine. He looks down at his hands, and for a moment I see a flash of the man I married. Vulnerable, uncertain, human. But then he straightens his shoulders, and I see the stranger again. The papers are in my briefcase. We can make this amicable. Split everything fairly. You'll be fine with your new promotion. There it is. The assumption that's been driving everything. That I'll be fine. That I don't need him. That I'm strong enough to handle anything. So he doesn't have to worry about the wreckage he leaves behind. I walk back to the table, pick up my wine glass, and take a long, deliberate sip. Marcus, do you remember what I do for a living? He frowns, clearly confused by the change of subject. Marketing. Crisis management, specifically. Do you know what the first rule of crisis management is? He shakes his head. Control the narrative. The person who tells the story first tells it best. I set down my glass and smile at him. The same smile I've given clients right before delivering news that would reshape their entire industry. So, let me tell you how this story ends. Your mother knows about Jessica now. I called her this afternoon, told her you had something important to share about your future. She was so excited, Marcus. She thought maybe we were finally going to give her grandchildren. I watch his face crumble as the implications sink in. She's planning to call you tonight to congratulate you on whatever wonderful news you have to share. Marcus drops his head into his hands. Amelia, you can't do this. Do what? Tell the truth? Share the story of how my husband of 8 years has been planning to leave me for months while I believed we were building a life together. I pull out my phone again, scrolling through my carefully documented evidence. Or maybe I should tell the story about how he's been having an emotional affair with his coworker while his wife worked overtime to pay for the house he wants to sell. It's not like that. Then what is it like, Marcus? Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like a man who wanted all the benefits of marriage with none of the responsibility. Who wanted someone to split the mortgage and cook dinner and maintain the perfect image while he shot for something better? He looks up at me then, and I see something I haven't seen in years. Fear. Real, genuine fear that he might not get exactly what he wants exactly when he wants it. What do you want from me? The question hangs between us like smoke from the candles still flickering on our ruined dinner table. What do I want? 6 hours ago, I wanted my husband to love me. I wanted our marriage to work. I wanted to fix whatever was broken between us and build something stronger. But that woman died this morning when she read his text message. I want honesty. Complete honesty. How long have you been planning this? Since February? 7 months. 7 months of good morning kisses and how was your day conversations and sleeping in the same bed while he counted down the days until he could escape. 7 months of me believing we were working through a rough patch while he was researching divorce attorneys. And Jessica? Since January. My chest tightens, but I keep my voice steady. So you've been emotionally cheating on me for 10 months. We never did anything physical? Do you think that matters? Do you think the fact that you kept your clothes on makes it better that you gave someone else the emotional intimacy that belongs in our marriage? He doesn't answer, which is answer enough. I walk to the kitchen island where I've laid out printed copies of our financial records, bank statements, investment portfolios, the mortgage documents, insurance policies. 8 years of shared financial responsibility spread across granite like evidence in a courtroom. Here's what you don't know about your wife, Marcus. I've been documenting everything. Every asset, every account, every investment we've made together. I know exactly what we're worth and exactly what percentage of it I contributed. I tap the stack of papers with one finger. Turns out the woman you think is so focused on her career that she ignores her marriage has actually been the primary breadwinner for the past 3 years. His head snaps up. That's not possible. Your salary last year was $87,000. Mine was $112,000, plus bonuses. Plus the freelance consulting work you didn't know about because you never asked what I did with my evenings when you thought I was just working late. I watch him process this information, watch his carefully constructed narrative start to crumble. The successful husband supporting his career-obsessed wife becomes the man whose wife was quietly out-earning him while he planned to abandon her. The house we live in? I qualified for the mortgage alone. The car you drive? I co-signed because your credit wasn't good enough. The vacation to Italy last year that you said was your gift to me? I paid for 70% of it. Marcus stands up abruptly, knocking his chair backwards. Why are you doing this? Because you thought I was weak. You thought I was dependent on you. You thought I'd be devastated and desperate and easy to manipulate. I gather the financial documents into a neat stack. You thought wrong. He starts pacing again, running his hands through his hair the way he does when he's frustrated. But this isn't normal frustration. This is the panic of someone who just realized they've been playing checkers while their opponent was playing chess. I never said you were weak. You didn't have to say it. You showed it. Every time you made a decision without consulting me, every time you dismissed my concerns as overreacting, every time you treated me like an obstacle to your happiness instead of a partner in building it. I pull out another folder, this one containing printouts of his text messages with Jessica. Not the romantic ones, though those exist. The calculating ones. The ones where they discussed my weaknesses, my blind spots. How easy it would be to convince me that the divorce was mutual. Jessica thinks I'm pathetic, doesn't she? She thinks I'm the clingy wife who can't see that her husband has outgrown her. Marcus stops pacing. Amelia, don't. Read it. I slide the folder across the table. Read what you said about me to the woman you want to replace me with. He doesn't touch the folder, but I know he doesn't need to. He knows what's in there. He knows exactly how he described our marriage, our problems, my supposedly desperate attempts to hold on to a man who was already gone. She was just being supportive. By helping you plan my humiliation, by encouraging you to string me along while you got your ducks in a row, by laughing about how clueless I was. The silence stretches so long, I can hear the grandfather clock in our living room ticking off the seconds. Outside, our neighbors are probably settling in for the evening, watching television, helping kids with homework, living the normal married life I thought we had. I'm sorry. His voice is barely above a whisper. I'm sorry it happened this way. You're not sorry it happened. You're sorry you got caught. He doesn't deny it. I walk back to the dining room table, blow out the candles one by one. The smoke rises between us, gray and acrid like the remnants of everything we built together. Here's what's going to happen next. You're going to call your mother and tell her the truth. You're going to explain that you've been having an affair, that you've been planning to divorce me for months, and that none of this was my idea or my fault. Amelia, please. You're going to call David and tell him the same thing. You're going to be honest with your boss about why Jessica wants to transfer. And you're going to stop pretending this is a mutual decision between two people who simply grew apart. Marcus slumps back into his chair, looking older than I've ever seen him. The confident man who thought he could control the narrative of our ending is gone, replaced by someone who's beginning to understand the consequence of his choices. And if I don't? I pull out my phone one more time, opening the folder of screenshots I've carefully organized and labeled. Messages with Jessica, searches for apartments, consultations with divorce lawyers, a complete timeline of deception spanning nearly a year. Then I tell the story myself. To everyone, your family, your friends, your coworkers, your boss. I show them exactly how you treated our marriage, how you planned your exit, how you tried to manipulate me into thinking this was somehow my fault. His face goes white. You wouldn't. Marcus, you've spent 8 years married to me and you still don't know who I am. I built marketing campaigns that destroyed companies twice the size of yours. I've ruined careers and reputations with nothing more than the truth strategically presented. I lean forward, meeting his eyes directly. What makes you think I won't do the same thing to protect myself? The transformation is complete. The man who walked into this house tonight planning to deliver a calculated blow to his unsuspecting wife is now staring at a woman who holds his entire future in her hands. The balance of power hasn't just shifted, it's been completely reversed. I need time to think. You've had 10 months to think. Time's up. I stand, smoothing my dress, suddenly exhausted by the weight of this conversation. You have until tomorrow morning to decide how you want this story to end, with honesty and dignity, or with me telling everyone exactly who you really are. Marcus looks around our dining room, at the ruined dinner, the wine stains spreading across white linen, the evidence of his betrayal scattered across the table, and I can see him calculating, weighing his options, trying to find an angle that lets him maintain some control, but there isn't one. Not anymore. I'll call my mother tonight, he says finally. Good. And Marcus? He looks up at me, waiting. Pack a bag. You're staying somewhere else until we figure out the details. The shock on his face is almost comical. He really thought he'd walk in here tonight, drop his bombshell, and somehow still get to sleep in our bed while I process the ruins of our marriage. This is my house too. Actually, it's not. I checked the deed this afternoon. My name is the only one on it. I smile at him, sweet and sharp as poisoned honey. Turns out when you're planning to abandon someone, you should probably make sure you understand exactly what you're walking away from. Marcus stares at me like I've grown a second head. The reality of his situation is finally sinking in. The confident man who thought he held all the cards is discovering he's been playing with a stacked deck, and I'm the one who's been doing the stacking. You can't just kick me out of my own home. Watch me. I walk to the front closet and pull out the suitcase he used for his business trip to Chicago last month. The same trip where he probably spent his evenings texting Jessica about their future together. You have 30 minutes to pack what you need for the next few days. He doesn't move, just sits there gripping the edge of the table like it's the only thing keeping him upright. Amelia, this is insane. We can work this out like adults. The audacity of that statement, after months of sneaking around, after planning to blindside me with divorce papers, after discussing my weaknesses with another woman, sends a surge of anger through me so pure it's almost cleansing. Adults communicate before making life-altering decisions. Adults don't spend 10 months planning their spouse's destruction while pretending everything is normal. I set the suitcase down with a deliberate thud. You forfeited your right to adult treatment the moment you chose deception over honesty. My phone buzzes, a text from Emma. How did it go? Do you need me to come over? I type back quickly, better than expected. We'll call you later. Marcus notices the exchange. Who are you talking to? People who actually care about me. Novel concept. I know. He finally stands, moving toward the suitcase with the mechanical movements of someone in shock. Where am I supposed to go? That's not mid-months to plan your exit strategy. Surely accommodation was part of the blueprint. I lean against the kitchen island, watching him try to process this new reality. Maybe problem anymore. Yuva Jessica has a spare room. Oh wait, that might complicate things with her transfer to Denver, wouldn't it? The color drains from his face completely. He hadn't realized I knew about Denver, about their plan to relocate together once the divorce was finalized, about the job application she submitted using him as a reference. How do you know about Denver? I know about everything, Marcus. The apartment you toured last weekend while I thought you were playing golf. The joint bank account you opened under your mother's maiden name. The consultation with Henderson and Associates on Market Street. I tick off each revelation on my fingers, watching him shrink a little more with each one. Did you really think you could orchestrate something this elaborate without leaving traces? He stumbles backward, hitting the wall. You hired someone to follow me. I didn't need to. You were sloppy, careless, too confident in your own cleverness, and too dismissive of mine. I pull out another folder, this one labeled with today's date. Credit card statements showing charges at restaurants I've never been to. Hotel bookings for business trips that don't exist in your company calendar. Receipts for jewelry I've never seen. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is refuse to be underestimated. When someone tries to write your story for you, the boldest response is taking back the pen. Amelia turned her husband's calculated betrayal into his worst nightmare simply by knowing her worth and refusing to play the victim he expected her to be.